religion is very important because many questions used to come on this part. And particularly, even in prelims also, this area is very, very crucial. So first you write the questions, then you will understand. (2020) question only, latest also you say. Throw light on the nature of religion. The nature of religion and classification of gods. Mentioned in the Rig Veda. Classification of gods mentioned in the Rig Veda. This is one 2020 question. In 2011, this was asked in 2020. In 2011, there was a question. Evaluate the conceptual basis. The conceptual basis of the Vedic deities. This is 2011. Next. Remaining things also almost in this format only you are going to see. Suppose if we want to compare with Harappan people, now can you recollect what was the nature of Harappan people? What is the nature of religion of Harappan people?
Sir, when it's found out that they found any religion because they did not found any structured temples.
Yes.
But when he found some terracotta models of mother goddess, and also like seals discovered at Harappa. He found seals which contained a man sitting on a unique posture, and historians have named it as a proto Shiva, which is surrounded by animals, and also the unique posture figure was represented with horns on his hand, and also there were findings in Kalimantan of some pots. On the pots there were sacrifices of animals and the animals being dragged with the sacrifices, and also
some kind of fire altar type of in Kalibangan. Sanju, Suman, Tarun, can you throw some light on how Harappan people were having these beliefs based on the existing idea, existing evidence? If we see the category, we have seen like male gods, mother goddess, animal worship, tree worship, then these sacrifices are rituals, even they are believing some kind of ghost myths. That was the evidence. Amulets, usage of amulets. And even much before Vedic Harappan people, we have seen even Neolithic people also. In many places, terracotta model of Mother Goddess, some kind of on stone itself, some kind of design. What is the Mesolithic site which has given the evidence of this kind of belief? On rock there were shapes of triangles. What is the location, Sanju? Not Hunsgi, in Madhya Pradesh. One site where the rock, on the rock, triangular shape of inscription, or it's not inscription, petroglyph you can say. Not Bilan Valley is in UP. Bagor. Bagor is the place. Bagor is located here. And Bhimbetka people, Adamgar people also have some kind of religious beliefs. But through the paintings only we have to decipher it, like some kind of dance festival. Probably they were having some kind of religious beliefs. When it comes to Bagor, Bagor is located almost close to Uttar Pradesh, Chopani Mando, Bilan Valley. From that location we got even present day tribals are also having this similar kind of belief.
So what was the tribal name you said?
Kol and Baiga. Those two people, those two tribes. KOL and BAIGA, Kol and Baiga. Always, whenever religion comes from now onwards, always try to recollect what happened before. Because our religion, our society, our economy is not a sudden one. Whatever is happening, that is because of the continuous changes in the past. Evolution, some are going to be removed, some are going to be added. That is why to understand the real context, we should continuously track what happened before this particular civilization. Before this Vedic civilization, Vedic culture, what was there?
Sir, one point I forgot when you asked me the question. Sir, the most evident is symmetry age culture. Symmetry age culture. Symmetry age which gives a reference to the tradition of the Vedic system. That means of fire altars and
sacrificial pits.
Symmetry age. That is what we have.
I will give you one question. Earlier also you have written, I think, but once again, new students are there. It was asked in GS, like why there is a continuity of the cultures. Do you remember? Do you remember that there was a question related to general studies? When Mesopotamia and other civilizations have a broken past, but why Indian culture is having continuity without any breakage? Let us write this. This was asked in 2015. Write this. The ancient civilization. I am giving you this question because to understand the importance of tracking. Suppose we are in 1500 BC. Our journey is going like this. Like before 1500 what happened, now between this period what happened. And now from 1000 to 600 BC, then around 322 BC, Mauryan Empire. In each and every phase, we are going to see similar kind of structure. Today we are talking about this part. Next, after this, we are going to see this part. Next, after that, we are going to see this. And questions are, in UPSC, the questions are asked in such a way. Earlier, most of the questions were like this. What does it mean? If they ask the question, they completely restrict. For example, just now this question also.
Throw light on the nature of religion and classification of gods mentioned in the Rig Veda.
Throw light on the nature of the religion and classification of gods mentioned in Rig Veda. So this was the Rig Vedic part, and the question is simple. In Rig Vedic period, what is the concept of God? And similarly, if before 1500 or 2600 to 1900, then question is going to be simple, like religion of IVC. As long as question comes this way, there is no difficulty for student, because nothing to think or link what happened before this, what is going to happen later. Nowadays UPSC questions are like this. UPSC is expecting the students to think, are they able to connect within the history? This is how history is also becoming dynamic in one sense. So you have to think in this way. And now I am giving you this, exactly for this I am giving you this question. In 2015, write this question. The ancient civilization in Indian subcontinent differed from those of Egypt, differed from those of Egypt, Mesopotamia, Mesopotamia and Greece. In that its culture and traditions, its cultures and traditions have been preserved without breakdown. Underline this. Have been preserved without breakdown. Have been preserved without breakdown. Underline preserved without breakdown. To the present day. Comment. To the present day. Comment. Now you see this, they are asking about Indian culture. In Indian culture, religion is one part of Indian culture, isn't it? Indian culture have many special qualities. Religion is one significant element in the culture of India. When it comes to other civilizations, suppose when it comes to Mesopotamia, almost 4000 BC, 3500 BC onwards, it flourished. That is, we are saying, contemporary to Indus Valley civilization in this part of this globe. This question shows how geographic importance you should give and how you should be able to, how you have to think about past also. Now when it comes to this, they are saying this is Mesopotamia. In this area, here Indus Valley civilization was there, here Mesopotamian civilization, here Greece civilization, Egyptian civilization in this location. When there is a break in their path, that means they are asking, you need to track what happened since emergence of first civilization. In case of India also, since beginning of first civilization. First civilization comes Indus Valley civilization. First culture then goes back. Neolithic culture, Chalcolithic cultures. That's what you need to say. Because they are trying to compare civilizations. They have given us some reference point. That if we take this civilization as the beginning point in this geographic location, let us think. In the present day, these are different countries. Let us think in purely in terms of just there are no country names here, just geographic. In this geography, certain elements started. In this geography also certain elements started around, you take 4500 or 4000 BC onwards. But after some time, once the rise of Islam comes, then a new kind of culture, civilization emerged. And there is a complete break in the past. And here also, when Alexander, up to Alexander was there, Greek culture, when Roman conquered, Roman culture emerged. And sudden some kind of break. Later they are going to revive in the form of Renaissance, that later. But there is a breakage. And here also it is almost completely forgotten what their early stages of life. UPSC is asking when there is a breakdown here, but not why it is not happening here. One of the reasons is continuous percolation of these ideas from one generation to the other or one culture to the other culture. Now this is IVC. IVC cultural elements including religion enters into Vedic period. This addition, not everything, some elements go there, some elements forgotten, and here new elements will come. Addition will come, those additional elements will enter into here. Now those elements will enter into here. Are you getting, online students, how you have to think about history optional questions? So this is the nature of the questions nowadays UPSC is asking. Now this I have given how UPSC is asking and concentrating this area. You write one more question. So two questions I will give. In these two questions you are going to see how these elements entered into next stage and these elements into next stage and these elements into next stage.
So for this third question, can you give the model answer?
I will give model answer also. Just this is to make you think how the nature of UPSC questions are changing and how as a history optional student you have to think about it. It's not like silos. Silos means what? Silos means if you are reading only Indus Valley civilization, religion means IVC religion alone. You will not have any bothering about how this affected them. But now onwards you start thinking in that way. And now this practice, this kind of exercise will help you a lot, particularly in general studies, in essay also, everywhere. Because even in general studies questions also, because this question is general studies question, unless you think in this way, it is going to be difficult to understand or analyze properly on the spot. I will give one more question. For example, during Mauryan time period, with respect to Ashoka and Dhamma, very, very significant question, Ashoka, Dhamma. Now you write this question. The concept of Ashoka's Dhamma this was asked in latest 2017. The concept of Ashoka's Dhamma as found through his inscriptions. As found through his inscriptions. We know about Ashoka and his Dhamma through inscriptions. The concept of Ashoka's Dhamma as found through his inscriptions. Through his inscriptions had its roots, underline from this point onwards, had its roots in Vedic Upanishadic literature. Roots in Vedic Upanishadic literature discuss. If you see this, Vedic Upanishadic literature. In this question you observe what timeline they are trying to expect a student to think.
Vedic is 1500 to 1000.
1500 to, is it 1000 or 600 BC? Vedic means, always remember both. Rigvedic also, later Vedic period also. That means from 1500 to next, when it comes to Upanishads are going to develop at this stage. Upanishads are going to come at this stage. Now, Ashoka Dhamma comes at this stage. Not even 350, 260, 250 BC. So when it comes to 260, 250 BC, that is the beginning of Ashoka's ideals. After Chandragupta, Bindusara, then Ashoka. Around 272, Ashoka comes, and definitely he takes another 10 years to formulate his Dhamma. 250 BC onwards, he started propagating the ideals through inscriptions. Now what UPSC is asking? We know about Ashoka's Dhamma through inscriptions. But whatever he is saying through his Dharma had its roots in Vedic Upanishadic literature. Are you getting how you have to think? So it is not about particular. Earlier we were simply studying what are the elements of Ashoka Dhamma. What is the evidence of Ashoka Dhamma? And what is the intention of Ashoka to propagate Ashoka's Dhamma. That is completely restricting to Mauryan Empire alone. But now UPSC is trying to ask linkage with the previous age. That is what even today also, if any general studies question comes in society, it is going to be very continuous phenomena. You have to understand this one. Now, when it comes to Buddha, what is the time period of Buddha? Around which time period Buddha and Mahavira were flourishing? Online students?
After Mahajanapada.
Buddha and after Mahajanapadas or during Mahajanapadas? Buddha and Mahavira.
Sir, because all Mahajanapadas did not come in the same period. So during Mahajanapada, because in Mahajanapadas, not before Mahajanapada, in the middle of Mahajanapada.
So if you remember somewhere, any idea about what is the first Buddhist council? When was first Buddhist council was held? If you understand this, then automatically you will remember. Around which date first Buddhist council? Very good, Tarun. 483. 483. Now you see 600 BC, 500 BC, 483 BC. Now between 500 483, suppose let us assume Buddha is very active from 520s onwards. 520 to 480, let us think, actually he lived almost 80 years. He lived 80 years. He came out of his home at the age of 29 or 30. At the age of 35, he got enlightened. From 35 or 36 onwards, he started preaching Dhamma, Buddha, up to 80 years. Then 563 is considered as his 563. Then he was living till 483. And if you remove 30 years, that means 533. That means from 530 onwards up to 483, he was active. By 530, whatever he is preaching, it is not going to be a complete isolated phenomena. Already in society, some religious elements are there. And on top of it, in the existing religious ideas, some evils are there. Some good elements are also there, some bad elements are also there. He removed bad elements, but he used good elements and he added on top of it and he gave new doctrine. You write this question also, so that complete clarity you will get. Discuss the social and economic factors the social and economic factors for the rise of Buddhism. For the rise of Buddhism. And how far was it influenced by Upanishadic thought? Now getting? Now Upanishad is coming into Buddhism also. It's not about what are the ideals or doctrine of Buddhism. It is asking how far do you think whether Upanishad has some kind of influence on Buddhism or not. This was the question in 1987. Now you see the latest one. Now this question is transformed in a different format now. In 2014, there was a question with respect to Upanishad, but it is asking the linkage like this. Now let us see. In 2014, there was a question. The Upanishadic principles, I am giving you these questions to understand whatever we are going to study in Rigvedic God, it is going to come in other places also. The Upanishadic principles embody the epitome of the Vedic thought discuss. Vedic thought means it is both Rigvedic and later Vedic. That means whatever you are going to study today, you are going to use it, that content, not only if question comes directly in Rig Veda, as I given you in the beginning itself, it will completely restrict to this period. But gradually question natures are changing. Now you need to analyze how this is influencing Upanishad, how Upanishad is influencing Buddhism, how the ideals up to here influencing Ashoka Dhamma. That is a continuous process. Gupta means you have to look back since ancient times. If it is Mughal period, you have to look back since ancient times. Even present day also you have to look back since ancient times. Okay. Now 2022 latest question, and with this we will start religion. Now you see the 1987 question, how it is repeated in 2022. Though some of the ideas of Buddhism, may have had their origin in Vedic Upanishadic traditions. In Vedic Upanishadic traditions, but it was an altogether new religion with its own specific principles. And institutions. Full stop. Discuss. These questions are giving you some kind of idea that some part is going to be this period, some part is going to be previous period. Some part is going to be Buddhism, some part is going to be previous part. Some part is going to be Ashoka Dhamma, some part is going to be how it influenced by. Some part is going to be Upanishad, some part is going to be Rig Vedic. So this is a continuous phenomena. In every question you are going to see in this way. If question comes Rig Veda, Vedic period or Indian culture, then it is going to be elements of all this. Now you write about Rig Vedic religion. Introduction you give. Rig Vedic religion. Introduction. Every people discover their religion in their surroundings. The Aryans, full stop, the Aryans found it difficult. To explain the coming of the rains, the appearance of the sun and the moon, and the existence of the rivers, mountains, and the like. Full stop. And the like. Like the natural phenomena, like it could be thunder, it could be flood, it could be drought, anything, whatever they are observing in their lifetime, they could not understand who is causing or what is the phenomena. Today, we have meteorological department, science progressed, and today we are able to understand that today rainfall is coming. This is the reason, because of these geographical climatic reasons. But at that time, there was no such knowledge. Only they were thinking, imagining, when they look at the sky, they were thinking that someone outside this world causing all these natural phenomena. And it was natural not only in this part of the world, not only in this, we are in this part of the world, even in Europe also, in other parts of the world also, similar kind of beliefs. That's why when it comes to Greek gods, many Greek gods having similar kind of pattern. Iranian gods, similar kind of same. That is why there is resemblance of Greek gods, Iranian Avesta gods, and Rig Vedic gods.
Actually, sir, if you take the religion of the deities of all the civilizations in all the world, but in every, there are always, they with the nature. That's Egypt, Ra, the sun god, Mars, in Rome, that is the sun god, god of war. We have Kartik as god, we have Surya, the sun god. Every in Rome also we have got like that.
In every, and to give you one example, here fire is very, very important. Agni god, fire. Because for the Sanatana Dharma or for Hinduism, actually the word Hinduism is became very narrow.
It's not religion, it's a philosophy.
Actually, this is because of the enthusiasm to make Hinduism look like Islam, to look like Christianity. It was marginalized. It was very broad down. But now, when Christianity or Islam, other religions, when they started attacking this broad nature, because they are narrow in their perspectives, because they always wanted to see every religion in that specific framework. Like there should be one prophet, there should be one God.
Christians take its ties in Inquisition. It's a large chapter in the history of the Vatican. The Inquisition is like whoever told against Christianity, like Galileo, San Copernicus, or Sir Isaac Newton, they had from Inquisition they have killed people. They had gone to crusades and what.
In the name of religion, more people got killed in our history. Religion is to save the people. But in the same instrument, that same religion instrument was used by people to massacre millions of people. Now when they are looking in that prism, now this Hinduism doesn't fit in this framework. No single person, no prophet, no single god or no god kind of thing. No, particularly there is no single book.
Conversion is not the Hinduism.
So there are so many elements which doesn't fit this framework. But now what happened during colonial time period, now naturally you will expect retaliation to this, and in that retaliation this concept was narrowed down. So this is the problem when it comes to the word Hinduism. It was very broad term. Very, very broad.
It's a wrong word.
And in fact, there is no word for religion, this word at all. And in fact, it's a geographical word. Whoever lives beyond this Sindhu river, it was considered as Hindu.
And also because the name H came because the CBS and people did not know how to pronounce it.
But again, this is hurting these people. That's why, again, this is very, very controversial. Purely in academic angle. This is where whether you are a rational or irrational. Everyone have their own agendas. Everyone have their own ways of looking at the life. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also said, everyone is right in their own way. So everyone, it is like a ocean. Every idea, every religious idea is like different streams. And finally, everyone merges with the ocean. It doesn't matter. For some time it appears, for these people it appears it is different. For these people it appears different. But ultimately where they are going? All are going into the ocean. So that's why when you look in a broader perspective, that kind of ideology will come. When you narrow down, you will get in a different kind of perspective. And in that over enthusiasm, now this Dharma or Hinduism also narrowed down to this. Now because of this narrowed, now this conflict became inevitable. So that is why we have to understand very, very important that, for example, here fire, when it comes to even Indus Valley civilization also, that's why when it comes to Kalibangan, Lodal, this fire is fire altars, some kind of fire altar structures might be there. And fire is very, very essential for the human beings. And if you observe this, in Iran, Zoroastrianism was there. And in this Zoroastrianism, fire god or fire temple is one of the essential elements. And today we see even in Bombay, there is one very famous fire temple. And these ideas now you see, these ideas are same, similar kind of phenomena you will find here also. And later you are going to see, when it comes to Buddhism, Gandhara school of art. Gandhara school of art is going to influenced by Greek philosophies only. Because through Alexander, Greek people are going to come here, and when they come, they are going to bring Greek ideology, their religions also. Now, Buddha is also imagined in Greek god format. That's why Buddha appears in northwest Afghanistan, Pakistan area in a different shape. In Madura, Buddha appears in a different shape. In Amaravati, Buddha appears in different shape. And in Thailand, Myanmar, Buddha appears in a different shape. Why, when Buddha is similar person, why these many versions of Buddha? Because nobody has seen Buddha, and they started imagining in their own way. And when they started imagining their own way, their past culture and whatever their ideas that prevailed in this geographic location, in this geography, it is going to bound influence. That's why here Buddha appears to look like these people. And in this location, the way people look in this geography, they look like that. And the way Greeks look, and Buddha look like them. It is what is happening here. Why I am explaining this? In the next periods, the people ideas are going to be influenced by the previous ideas. It's a continuous process. In the name of religion, people should not kill. That is what rational. If someone thinks rationally, that's what. But if you want to restrict yourself, and if you want to see yourself as a great and others are not great, then you will go into irrational, and in the name of same religion which preaches peace, and you are going to create violence.
The most important thing is that Lord Jesus, they did not want to form a religion. They died and their followers came into.
Exactly. They were only preaching peace, but later their followers made it. Even, for example, Prophet Muhammad also, he preached Islam for peace purpose, but the followers made it so violent later. So that is why it is going to become even Christianity also in the name of crusades. Where crusades took place? In this region. Because for Christianity also, this region is very crucial. Jerusalem is the place, and this place is associated with Jesus. And this is the same place associated with Prophet Muhammad also. Now, those followers also wanted control over this land, and these people also wanted control over this land. And when you want to control, then crusades.
And the most people suffered in crusade is either not Christianity or Islam. The most people suffered is other people who follow Judaism. The Jews.
So that is why, though already some ideas were there, Judaism was there. Earlier, Zoroastrianism was also there. And similarly, there might be n number of such ideas must be there. So this is a natural phenomena in the evolution.
Jews, they are like distinct with black hairs. That's why it is very easy to recognize a Jew. In Europe, that's why so many Jews were collected by Hitler. So according to the Islam, the Jews were foreigners. That is the Christians. And according to Christians, the Jews already had Christians versus Jews were there because Jesus was a Jew. So Christians and Jews were already in a cousin. And also Christians were also Jews. And when the Islam also came to kill Christians, they also killed Jews. So Jews are
in the crossfire, in the middle.
Yes.
So that way, as a history optional student, you have to think in a very broad perspective. You should not narrow it down to any concept to such a narrow down level. You have to think in a very broader perspective. As a history student, we should always see it's a evolutionary process.
This thing only, that you told, I just yesterday was seeing a movie about a Dan book. It was then that person, he was a symbologist. He and his one of his friend, he was the main villain, and when he was cut by the police, he told his friend that this is the why we study history, so that people would stop fighting this part.
Yeah. So if you understand history in right perspective, you can stop the violence. And if you misinterpret, and you will create the violence also. This way you try to see, okay? Now it is a continuous, now everywhere. When we are going to talk about Mauryans, we are going to revisit. When we are going to, that is why I am giving more introduction at this point of time. Because when it comes to Harappans, we don't have this much evidence. But we have so many things to know about Vedic people. From 1500 to purely in terms of history, we have some information to understand how people lived in the religious ideas between 1500 to 1000. Don't see like whether they are Harappans, whether they are Aryans, forget for some time. For history optional student, it is like in this period how people lived, what were their ideas. And we don't know how these people called for themselves, but we have some reference. Those people who lived from 1500 to 1000 or 600 BC, we know the reference that these people themselves called as Aryans. And those people, they consider non-Aryans. So whether it is true, right, wrong, that is secondary. But we have some historical reference. And we are talking about Vedic period or Aryan period means this 1500 BC to 600 BC. And also always remember the geography also. Now you draw this map also. Because it is very, very crucial in understanding later developments. Tarun is asking, sir, is it appropriate to say that this continuation took place because of the people who uprightly did not vanish? Tarun, I am not getting your question. Can you speak? Who uprightly did not vanish. What does it exactly mean? What you want to say? Can you? Yes, Tarun, please go ahead. हाँ Tarun, please go ahead. Now can you speak?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Tarun, please go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to ask that, like you said that
Yes.
continuation of the religious practices took place. So my question was that is it because of the fact that the people from, let's say, from the Harappan culture, they got incorporated into the later on culture. Like Harappan people are also seen, like as I said, that Pandis were the Harappan people, and they got incorporated in the Vedic scale as well. So was it because of this evolution that the earlier religious traditions got incorporated into the Vedic system?
Harappans entered into Vedic system.
Yes, sir. Like the post-Harappan people entered into Vedic system.
Vedic system means you have to, Harappans means what do you mean? By the time 1500 to 1000 BC, Harappan people were not there, but their culture represented in the form of late Harappans. Do you mean these people? So these people, yes, it is a continuous interaction. whatever you are saying, that it is not only about late Harappans. Do you remember, by this time period, there were other type of people are also there. In this part, ochre colored pottery. There are also different type of people, archaeologically. Late Harappan people. And here, Ahar culture was there. Let us think only Gangetic Valley, because Rigvedic period mostly concentrated this area. Yamuna this side and Indus. That means late Harappan interaction, and here this interaction. There were other people, could be Neolithic and Chalcolithic cultures continuing. Symmetry H culture, Jukar culture. Some people entered into urban phase, but geography is so big. In some other parts, some people might be continuing Neolithic, Chalcolithic. In the present term, in the archaeological historical term, we are calling them Neolithic, Chalcolithic people. But in the present parlance, if we say, we can say that. Can we use this term for them? For example, in the present day context, they are very close to nature. Neolithic, Chalcolithic people, close to nature. And you can say Aryans and tribal people. Tribal people always exist, even today also exist. This interaction will keep on continuous. And when they entered into the new geographic location, their ideas, when they enter into Gangetic Valley, ideas. When they enter into this area, ideas percolate. When they enter into this, ideas percolate. And it's not about one way, it is two way. This idea, already in this location, some ideas are there, mixing. Here also, mixing. Here also, mixing. And these people will keep on migrate, new generation will keep on getting new ideas. So this is how continuously it is passing past idea, old idea into new form. Old idea, but in a new form, it is keep on moving from one generation to the other generation.
Foreign religions came very late into India. That's why the religion of India was also made late.
And in fact, there was no such kind of religion to say anything.
No, that's practices.
Suppose if there is one person or one book, if you destroy that book, that religion will vanish. But if there is no single book, purely in terms of religion, but culture is much bigger than religion. And another reason is, whoever comes, whether this side, whether Greeks this side, Iranians this side, Central Asians this side, whoever comes, they bring certain new elements and they adopt the local elements also.
The assimilation of ideas.
Exactly, assimilation. Are you getting, Tarun, this assimilation? So because of this assimilation characteristic of India surviving the Indian culture.
In Andhra Pradesh culture, it was kind of imposed.
In the words of, do you remember V.S. Smith? Who is V.S. Smith? Yesterday or day before yesterday we were seeing the historiography.
The wonder that was India. No, that was Andhra.
He is A.L. Basham.
Basham.
Okay. V.S. Smith. Any idea, online students? Tarun? Sanju? Suman? 2 days ago we have seen different people who contributed for this contribution.
Categorized.
Categorization is James Mill, then Max Muller, then after that early history of India. He has written early India, that is V.S. Smith. He used to say that this geographic area, India has so much assimilative power. Just I will give the language, what he has exactly used. he uses this term. V.A. Smith. Every foreigner, he says, foreigners universally yielded to the, now I will write this term, wonderful assimilative power. Wonderful assimilative power of India. Here this term comes. V.A. Smith, he has written History on India in 1910s. He has given everyone, whoever comes to this geographic land, universally yielded means they surrendered. Military wise they might have won, but for wonderful assimilative power of India, everybody surrendered. As a result, they are bringing some new elements and they are continuing the old elements. And some new person come, new elements, continuing the old elements. Whether it is Delhi Sultanate, whether it is Akbar, whether it is British. Even before that, whether it is Hunas, Shakas, Kushanas, same thing. And in fact, let us think these people, Aryans. Many, after some time we are going to see, Atharva Veda, for example, is going to have ideas of both Rigvedic ideas as well as tribal ideas. That means assimilative power is a continuation of the past traditions. Getting? Yes, Tarun. So,
Also the book Aryans, it takes about the forest people and the
forest people, Aranyakas. So that tradition is like that. Whether it is Buddha, Mahavira, some other new person, is bound to be affected by the previous ideas that are already there in this land. That is how new ideas are coming, but without breakage in the old ideas. Okay, now this is very crucial because from now onwards it is going to be just a continuation of. And in fact, even when we study about Guptas also, we are going to study one question with respect to Rig Veda. There is a question that how Gupta Hinduism is different from Vedic religion. For that reason, I am giving you this entire, because it is not going to leave you in Vedic period alone. It is going to be like a bedrock for rest of religious ideas. Even though Harappan ideas, some of the ideas continue, but we don't have a lot of evidence. But for Rig Veda, we have so much, and this is going to become bedrock for rest of the Indian civilization later. Now let us write these elements. Male deities. Male deities. First one, Indra. Write few points. The most important divinity in Rig Veda is Indra. The most important divinity. In the Rig Veda is Indra. He was also called as Purandara, Purandara. He acted as a warlord. 250 hymns were dedicated to him.
So one thing, the hymns means how many lines?
Line, it differs. In the early Vedic period, number of lines are different. As time progress, different. Suppose it is like a composition orally only, I get some idea and I started saying.
That's like couplets is 2 lines.
Couplet 2 lines, maybe some 3 lines, some 4 lines. In the initial stages, they were giving elaborated, so they were explaining. Then after some time, in less amount of words also they may convey more.
Or in poem form, I mean song
It's like a small
form.
poems. I don't know what to say, whether it is poem. Hymn is the better term.
Okay.
Short lines, short lines. Hymn. 250 hymns devoted to him. He is also considered as a rain god. He is also considered as a rain god. Aryans used to pray for victory against demons. So this is purely in a religious term. Historians, now this is there as part of religion, but it is the work of historian to consider these things and how society was there at that time. Here probably demons means opponents. Simply opponents. When the human evolution, there was no person with 10 heads. It is only mythology, but definitely opponent. This opponent, for example, if you are an Aryan, now you are praying for God Indra that you want to gain victory in the battle. And he wants to destroy the demons. This demon could be Aryan also, within Aryan also, whoever is opponent, and that demon could be non-Aryans also.
So then, obviously, if you are going to fight with someone, you should say bad things about him. That is the
Exactly.
nature of it.
This is the work of historians to should not take exactly the term, what does it mean, but the inference of it.
Now, in that story books and agenda, we will now just demonstrate Dasas and Dasus, so they will do that the Aryans have always oppressed these Dasas and Dasus, like the upper caste and lower caste, and they will make a politics out of it.
Exactly. So this what? Now this could be Aryan also, it could be non-Aryans also.
One is also maybe.
According to the context, they used to pray God for victory. So whenever there is fight and they want victory, and they portray the opponent as in that fashion.
And also heavy forces like drought, flood.
For example, USA, when in 2001, Twin Towers were attacked. Now USA started gathering the friends to go and invade Afghanistan. Then they will go to other countries and they will say that, are you with us or not? Are you? Then if they say that we are not with you, then that means they used to portray that then you are with the terrorists. Will it be like that? If you are not USA, doesn't mean they are with the terrorists. They are not with you also, they are not with you also. So this way, in the same problem for when it comes to India during non-alignment movement, both capitalist bloc and Soviet bloc, when it comes to non-alignment movement, we are not with USA capitalist also, we are not with USSR communist bloc also. And when someone asks India or Nehru Prime Minister, who you are with capitalist or you are with communist, then what we have to say? We are neither with USA nor with USSR. The other way of explaining is, we are with you also, we are with you also. So it is not about taking the sides. It is about how you view the opponent or the problem. At that time also, demon could be Aryan also, non-Aryans also. But for the present day politics, if it suits to portray all non-Aryans as demons, you can portray narrow politics. This is where historian try to, this is what mentioned in Rig Veda. But as a historian, it is the duty to read it and understand what the existing society. Here Purandara, that means forts breaker. And he was a rain god. And he prayed for victory in the wars and battles. And this, because of this Purandara, some historians consider these are Harappan people, they destroyed it. But there could be some normal forts also, or already left deserted forts also. And when it was destroyed, just people, they might have seen that it was, for normal people at that time, it appears very huge. They might have thought that it is not a human activity from some kind of extra human in nature.
We go to a deserted place. We go to a park at the night. We always feel like a ghost is there. But is the ghost is there?
So exactly. So this is how we imagine our surroundings. They imagined rain as something which is caused by a god called Indra. And rain is so important when it comes to food for cattle, food for people, and water is required. Now these are very essential. From morning to evening, without these you cannot survive. And whenever there is rain and plenty of these things, then obviously as a respect to the nature, but we are human beings. When it comes to human beings, we imagine God also like a human format. And if there is any imagination for the animals, they may see their God as in the animal format. We don't know, because we cannot understand the language of animals. A snake can understand their God as snake in format. Humans imagine in the format human. A cow may imagine in the form of cow, or a tiger may imagine in the form of tiger. We don't know. We don't know because it's only speculation. But here as a historian, historians always need to take out these religious beliefs in social format. Now, next point.
As an archaeologist, as a historian, the historian should read between the whites and not the blacks, and not always the blacks. That means what is written, we should not interpret it blindly, but also should see and should feel that what is actually being written.
That is interpretation. Actually, for what purpose they have written, we don't know exactly. How the society was there, purely we cannot reconstruct. It's only the different perspective of the historian, different nature of the historian, different formats will emerge. But history optional student, we have to see, this is, if they ask about religion, we have to answer this one. And while you are giving the evidence about the society also, you can use these references. Now for example, Purandara, we used this format in Harappa also. Sudden decline theory, Aryan invasion theory, Mortimer Wheeler. You need just to remember that, Mortimer Wheeler. Ramaprasad Chanda. So initially he gave, but later he changed, but Mortimer Wheeler continued. For history optional, you remember these names. Wheeler, he considered the name Purandara means Harappan people, destroyer of the Harappan forts. So this is how you keep understanding in this format. Next god, Agni. Agni. Second position is held by Agni. Second position is held by Agni. 200 hymns are dedicated to him. Yes, Tarun, good. On the basis of circumstantial evidence, Indra stands convicted. So, it is very good. Try to reconnect in that way. Circumstantial evidence, Indra got convicted means, what is the evidence given by the historians? These are the terms.
That Indra is the cause of destroyed.
You have to explain, that is not the convincing answer, because already these people 1500 to 1000 we are talking, but by 1800, 1700 declined. And it is also very isolated, and we cannot exactly say that that is the reason. Agni.
Also the fort has not been found also. The fort has not been discovered yet. The fort at Purandara destroyed forts, but nothing as such a forts destroyed or forts has not.
Only whatever town planning, citadel, historians taking that citadel might be kind of fort for the Harappans.
Because
Upper area, that fort wall also there. So they are considering probably that was their fort. Agni, 200 hymns. Fire played a significant part in the life of Aryans. Fire played a significant part in the life of Aryans. The cult of fire occupied a central place not only in India but also in Iran. India also important, Iran also important. Agni is considered as intermediary between gods and people. So whenever you do sacrifice, smoke will come. That smoke is imagined as some kind of bridge between people and gods. Next one, Varuna. This was even asked in prelims also. Varuna. The third important position given to Varuna. He personified water. He uphold, now you see this, natural order. This is prelims question. Natural order called Rita. He upholds the natural order Rita. Next. According to this idea, Aryans believed that whatever happened in the world was the reflection of Varuna's desires. So whatever Varuna is thinking, that is what happening in the world. He wanted to create mountains there. Varuna wanted to create rivers are flowing. Varuna wanted to create trees are there. This is what in biblical also, God, demons, snakes, everything created by God, and male female creation by the God. And this is what exactly you are going to counter, because this idea, when it comes to Upanishads, gradually these ideas are going to up to 1500, 1000 BC, one level. But now when you enter into new areas, already these people are there. When you enter into this area, now already some people are already there. They might have their own ideas. Now when new ideas are coming, some people naturally criticize if it doesn't suit them. And now when these people move to new area, already certain kind of ideas were there in this geographic land. That means in the western part of UP, for example. And in fact, this is the location where Upanishads are going to come out. In early Vedic time period, Vedic people are still beyond Yamuna only. When they are about to come here, they are going to bring these ideas, and now Upanishads are going to counter these ideas. Because by this time, not only ideas format, now they are taking the sacrificial format also. Brahmanas are saying the same ideas, but to satisfy the gods, they are suggesting that so many sacrifices are required.
Satisfy their own needs also.
Exactly, that is what a historian has to interpret. That is the employment of Brahmanas in other way. And there are already competition for the resources. Now, as you enter into this Gangetic Valley means more and more people are going to attract many people. And once it attracts many people, now competition for the resource also going to be high. And even today also, this region is the one of the most populated area in India. That is, geographically, more resources for food is available there.
So it is said that if UP forms a country, it will be the world's 5th largest populous country.
You can see, almost around 20 crore, if you consider all of that. So likewise, why this much population is living in this small geographical land? Because Gangetic Valley is providing the food, shelter to everyone who is living there. And now when these people also come here, and already even before these people are settling here. Neolithic people, Chalcolithic people, late Harappan people, OCP people, black and red ware people, all these people, once you come here, settle, when you have sufficient resources, you won't feel to go to the new area. When you are comfortably living, why you want to go to new area? Now when 2-3 generations live and they own that land, and they feel that it is my ancestral land and I will not leave. It's natural. Even today also, if someone says, you Indians go out of India, will we go? No, it is our motherland, it is our fatherland, whatever you consider. And this is our land. So this our land, why this consider? Why we are getting this? Our land.
Sir, one thing is that because land is scarce and we need to live on land, that's right. And also,
yes, online students, because this feeling, how, with what sense we are feeling that this is our land. For example, if we say we are 30 years of old or 40 years of old, suppose we are all young, so 30 years, we lived on this earth 20 or 30 years on this earth. Just if we live for 20-30 years, will it make us our land? But what idea is making to say that India is my country, this land is my country, my land?
same culture of the
You came to the earth just 20 years ago or 25 years ago. Just you lived, for our roots are connected. Exactly. Can you elaborate what root means?
Sir, the culture, the tradition, the ideas, and the spirit of nationalism, patriotism.
Very good, very good. Even some more layman terms can you explain? Suppose we are living 20 years. We came to the earth 25 years, 30 years, for example.
So because our forefathers lived, so we consider
My father, mother also living.
so we consider it as a right that I must stay there.
Exactly. Now my father, mother, my family also living. That means now it is under 50-60 years goes back. That means my family is continuously living for past. Next, their mother and father, and their mother and father, ancestors we call. And when same blood is flowing, so it naturally feels that it's not about my 20 years or 30 years. It's about my parents' years and their parents' years. And that's what we are owning our ancestors. We are all feeling that our ancestors, all are Indians. Now all these people are living in this land and they contributed in their lifetime whatever they could do. It could be their idea, it could be their economic activity, it could be their fight against the existing discrimination during British time period. Our Indians fought against the British. We are owning that fight. We did not fight, but we are owning that our people fought for this land. So I have to protect it. So this way, When you live for 50, 60 or 100 years, you will start feeling this is our land. Now, when you live for 3000 years, that sense of belonging will increase further. And now same thing is going to happen here also, and for the same reason many wars and battles are also taking place. Already some people are here. Now new people come and they want to conquer this, and what happens to those existing people? They will fight. And that's why near the borders continuous fights used to take place when someone wants to expand and these people wants to protect. Today also we have in GS3 internal security, and one of the portion is how to strengthen our borders so that foreigners will not enter. In their sense, in 1500 BC or 1000 BC, for these people, these are foreigners. And for these people, these are foreigners. And for these people, these are foreigners. But gradually over 100 years, 2000 years, 3000 years, then everybody started seeing that he is not different, me not different. They are not different, I am not different. That means we both are same. Till recently also, South India, North India debates were happening. And nowadays we are seeing all are Indians. Particularly when states reorganization was taking place on the basis of language, many Western thinkers gave the prophecy, that future prediction, that they are fighting for their language. That means they are going to become independent countries after 20 years, 30 years. But instead of that, we are becoming more and more Indianized rather than localized. So we proved them wrong, because it is not about 1956 reorganization. Everyone on this land own the past tradition. But not just 100 years, 200 years, but the thousands of years tradition owned by everyone. And this person is also feeling that these people belong to them. And these people also believing that these people also belong to them. And if some problem comes here, this person go and fight. If some problem comes here, these people come and fight. This sense of unity is surviving India, particularly after independence. Otherwise, by this time, already 75 years, we are celebrating 75 years of independent India. We are celebrating it because of this sense of unity. If there is no that ideological unity, we will become different countries in few years or few decades. But after independence, that did not happen. But many Western thinkers were giving this kind of analysis. There are so many castes, so many languages, so many tribes, they are going to disintegrate. Like in 1947, India, Pakistan, after 10 years, 20 years, they are going to become multiple. But this idea of common history, common ancestry is making us to believe. If some pockets believe that they are different, it is our duty to make them, they are also part of mainstream. Otherwise, it creates problem internally and other people will try to take. So they try to create differences. We have some differences, but others will try to create a rift.
Also, sir, this feeling of that they are from other countries, they are from other. So these are harbored by 2 or 3 people only, not the whole. And they incite the others through their speeches and all that they are also different. If you can neutralize these 2 or 3 people, then the whole India will be problem.
So that is the administration part comes, how you handle that challenge. Yes, Sanju, sense of belongingness to common motherhood, bind together, maintain. Very good. This is how you have to see the history. History is for what we are. What is the purpose of reading something that happened 3000 years ago? What is the need of it? And we have so many problems today. Instead of thinking about today's problem, why you are talking about 3000 years? And they had that problem, they had this one, they had their culture. What is the reason? This is the reason. If we know past well, you will handle present also well, and you will not mistake of the past in future also.
So that we cannot say that the past repeats itself.
Exactly. Those who ignore history, they are going to repeat the same mistakes of the history. If you know history already, you know the mistake, you will not repeat it. So that is why we are reading it. Next. This Varuna, whatever is happening in this world is because of Varuna.
Sir, this concept is known as Rita.
Rita. So this you can say the beginning of the universal order. Because even in Europe also, people were believing in Christianity or in Islam, any religion, they used to believe that there was a God and God created in the entire universe. Same is the case.
So in the Aryans Vedic period, Varuna was the creator of the universe.
Yes.
And later it became Brahma.
Later becomes Brahma. All these people are going to be sidelined. Whether Indra, Agni, Varuna, they are not going to be important. They are major gods in early Vedic, but they are going to become minor gods. In fact, they are going to become Dikpalakas, who are protecting the 8 corners of the world. But initially, they were the main gods. Because now when new ideas come, old people will get sidelined a little bit. And now Vishnu, Shiva, Rudra, now you see, by the time tribal religion or late Harappan religion or the non-Aryan ideas, Proto-Shiva is there, but Proto-Shiva is not there in early Vedic time period.
Shiva is not mentioned.
Shiva is not mentioned. Now when it comes to later Vedic time period, Proto-Shiva ideas also entering into Aryan. Now Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, they are going to play a dominant role from then onwards. And in UPSC also question used to come, what was the religion of early Vedic and later Vedic and how transformation has taken place. Next one. Next god, Soma.
Sir, Soma, male or female?
God of plants, not goddess. God of plants. God of plants. An intoxicating drink is named after him. So whenever celebration is to take place, they used to take this drink associated with this god. Intoxicating drink is named after him. Because Rigvedic people used to consider this is a very sacred occasion. Not every day. Whenever there is a festival, whenever there is offering to the gods, prayer to the gods, occasionally they used to take this and they even associated this drink with gods also. Gods also used to take this and common people used to take during the occasions.
It is continuing now. So like in Holi we have this bhang. It's a plant, medicinal plant also.
Like that. And this tradition is later going to become in a different formats. For example, when Tantra comes, Tantricism, and even there are so many sects in Shaivism also going to come, Kapalika, and so different. These ideas, some of these ideas are going to enter into new ideas in a different format. Maruts.
And one more person who eats raw meat.
Oh, there are different Shaiva sects.
So it's still found in Varanasi, but it's illegal. Cannibalism is illegal, but still we found this.
Yes, their ideas still we see in different remote pockets of India. Maruts personify storm. They personify the storm. These are some important male deities. Next, women deities. Women deities, Saraswati. Saraswati. Many hymns are devoted to river Saraswati. Many hymns are devoted to river Saraswati. And this is the exact problem today. Rigveda is mentioning and Rig Veda has given so much importance to Saraswati. But today, if you cannot prove archaeologically where this Saraswati river, then it goes against the Rig Vedic idea. And those who want to believe, they will believe that there is Saraswati river. Then those who want to oppose, they will say there is no Saraswati river, it is only imaginary. But those who believe in it wants to prove desperately that there is Saraswati river and dried up. And even some scholars, those who cannot digest this, Ganga, Yamuna, but this is Prayagraj.
And also Saraswati also maybe according to
Geographically, as of now, there is no only Ganga, Yamuna, there is no Saraswati in Prayag. That is why they say that this is either imaginary or it is located near Gagarhakra. But those who want to desperately say that near Prayagraj, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati is also coming, but Saraswati is not flowing on surface but underground.
that will be a great.
So this is how different, because why these kind of interpretations are happening? Because there are people who believe whatever Rig Veda says, that is sacred. And this is God word. And in fact, these Vedas are not considered as the human works. This is the word directly given by God. And this is one of the reasons why they were not put to write for many centuries. Because it is God word and it has to be transmitted to the next generation through oral. So that no corruption takes place. But when you orally transmit also, naturally you are going to delete something, when you are going to forget something. And if you forget something, you may add something also. There is no guarantee that whatever began in the initial phase, that only transmitted. And in fact, if you do in the similar format, Rig Veda will not become this much big. Unless you add some new hymns, then only after 1000 BC, you will see very big Rig Veda. Otherwise, in 1500 BC, Rig Veda might be very small one, maybe few hymns. But as time passes, 1200,
Office door. Routes or office.
it might be very small one, but by 1400, 1300, 1200, 1100, by 1000 BC, Rig Veda becoming big. And how it becomes big? Unless you add new things. And why these additions? Now we see the interpretation of history point of view. Society is changing. In 1500, they are locating in one geography, and population is also very small, pastoral, not agriculture. As they move towards new geographic lands, they are going to settle. Agriculture becomes important. Here, pastoralism. Now, according to pastoralism, here they praise gods for more food for the cattle. And as we go, now they start praising more for more crops in agriculture. And this is where, as more and more economic activities started, now after that trading activities are also going to come. This is where exactly the Brahmanical tradition or the rituals also emerged. In the beginning phase, they were praising only for pastoral activity, cows, food for the animals, and good crop of eva, barley. Now, as you go towards this side, more crops came. Even for offering of the gods, you are going to offer eva as a food to the gods, not rice, because rice is not that here they are yet to cultivate. Once they enter into new geography, now rice also coming. Now rice is considered as so precious or very important. When something new like gold, when something is scarce and when everyone want that, then the price of it goes high, and also the importance in the society also increases. Now at this stage, rice becomes so essential. Now people started offering to the gods.
That is the reason why only rice harvest is considered as a new year, something in Bengali or in Tamil, Pongal.
So that belief, so probably that belief is making rice a special crop. And how initially no rice, later rice considered, and in fact once these grains came, it is sustaining more and more people. Cattle, they have to continuously move, but when agriculture comes, they need not to keep on move, they can settle in one place, and they are thinking that agriculture is the reason and agriculture has to be worshipped, and even for gods also they are asking more crop. Even today also there are, for example, Pongal example. In West Bengal also celebration is there, in Kerala also, in Punjab also, harvest, we call harvest crop, harvest festivals. Whenever new harvest comes, we offer some part of this crop to gods. Because out of gratitude, because of the nature we are getting this harvest, because of this harvest we human beings are getting food. That is gift of God, so as a respect to the gods we offer. Now this is where art and culture comes. Now you see, the roots of this art and culture goes to this. As a history student, you should be able to connect all these dots. You are going to learn dot by dot. But when a UPSC exam comes, question comes, you should be able to connect all these dots. So this is how, when time increases, new economic activities, new society, as a result, new ideas, now new literature. New literature. Online students, are you able to clearly get my voice? Online. Not audible? Hello, online students, now audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. So you keep connecting the dots, that how in later time period different harvesting festivals are going to emerge. This is how, because of these activities, Rig Veda is going to become bigger and bigger. Now by this time, Rig Veda is alone not sufficient. Rig Veda is become so big that people are not able to understand what Rig Veda is saying. That's why they started writing, or they started giving how to remember Rig Veda. Rig Veda is becoming so big. For example, today also, when we start preparing, initially 1 chapter, 2 chapters, we try to remember everything. Then as we 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, 5th chapter, then we cannot remember everything. And we will try to find some other mechanism how to remember the contents of the chapter. Then we will find some kind of codes. That is where Rig Veda becomes a Samaveda later. Samaveda don't have any other new content. This is only same content of Rig Veda, but it is in a form of song, how to pronounce, so that people will remember for a long time. If you remember in the format of song, you will remember for a long time. Samaveda is just content is Rig Veda only, but how you praise the gods, the way to praise the gods, the music, and from there, from Samaveda, later Indian music also emerges. Carnatic music, Hindustani music, later we are going to, as new and new elements are going to come, nature of music will change, but origin is going to be Samaveda. So likewise, Yajurveda, next Yajurveda. Now more and more sacrifices are going to start. Now more and more yajnas are going to perform. Now for each and every yajna, some kind of formula. For pastoralism, one kind of yajna, one kind of mantras. For agriculture, one kind of yajna, one kind of mantras. For trading purpose, one kind of yajna, one kind of mantra. From morning to evening, early morning, what type of prayer and mantra. Evening before you sleep, different kind of mantra. Now more and more activities, more and more places you need these. Yajurveda emerged.
Sir, people tell you that social level because Brahmanas chant so much, but sir, if we look at the present context, suppose we both, we can't go to 7-star restaurant now. We will go to either 3-star or maybe once in a month or once in a year, suppose we collect money and we go to 5-star. But see the actors, see the film stars or the politicians, they can go to 7 stars because they have got more money. The same way, so the Brahmanas also, if they want to commit rituals of any pastoral people or any Vaishya people, they will obviously charge less. They will be ritual will be less. But if they would charge about the rituals about king going to war or the king having his birth or having his son's birth, they obviously charge the scale of the ritual also will increase.
Exactly. So richer the client, richer the fee. And obviously you are going to give more attention, more time to that kind of mode of worship or sacrifice. That's why different areas, different people. Now when more and more economic activities emerged, more and more.
So because in that Karnataka there is one Hanuman Mandir is there, we give them 11 rupees or maybe students give it some 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 1 rupees. But if you go to other like Tirupati or like Vaishno Devi or like in that, those we have to give them 501 rupees or 1001 rupees because the
level of temple increase and the power of deity also increases and people offering also increases. Same is the case.
So we shouldn't blame those people.
So this is what historians should interpret. Religiously only Rig Veda is mentioning this, but there is a history or there is society behind it, there is economy behind it. This is where historians have to understand.
And not just blindly telling that the Brahmanas have done this purposely and all, because they also.
That is different. People have different ideologies behind it. They will say.
The Brahmanas were not allowed to commit these rituals and all. All the Brahmanas also, like people tell that only the Shudras are not allowed to read the Vedas, but actually it's not like that. All the Brahmanas were also not allowed to read Vedas. Only the Shastric Brahmanas were allowed to read Vedas. Other Brahmanas were not allowed to read Vedas. They also they like other people only.
Okay. So that is where historians have to interpret what exactly the history behind it. Next, Aditi and Usha, women deities.
Both are like sun and morning gods.
They are represented the appearance of the dawn. Appearance of the dawn. Next you give subheading mode of worship. Mode of worship. People worship the gods through recitation of prayers and performance of sacrifices. But in the initial stage, they are very not like violent sacrifices, not like letter Vedic. Whatever offering they are going to give. Individual prayers and sometimes collective prayers. Individual prayers as well as collective prayers. Sometimes whole tribe, entire tribe gives the offering. Entire tribe, whole tribe. You give next point. Sometimes whole tribe participate in the prayers. Sometimes whole tribe participate in the prayer. Because it is not that big. Because hardly 100 people, 50 people, 20 people also might be there in a single tribe. All 20 people nowadays, if you go to joint family, 50 people will be there in big joint family. Now the entire family prayer. Now at that time, entire family means one tribe is one family. In the initial days, one family is equal to one tribe. So the entire tribe used to pray. That means naturally it's one or two families, extended families if you take also. But as more and more people, population increases, that is not going to be practical one.
Also, you must say that the life expectancy of the people are also not so.
It would be less offerings. That's why people were praying for food, health, children, offerings. what people were offering in the Rig Vedic time period? Barley, whatever they have. Even today also, if rich person offers apple, poor person offer some very small fruit which is naturally available or at low cost, banana, and rich person can offer costly leeches, something different. So depending on social state. So as a historian or history student should see these social differences. That means there is a society where some people are poor, some people are rich. It is not that always, that time Rigvedic people offered barley, now also people should offer only barley.
Gold also.
Today people are offering gold also, that time they were not offering. It is not that common. They know it, but it is not common. And vegetables.
So people offer things according to the livelihood, sir. So the livelihood was agriculture and that's why they offer vegetables, sir.
Yes, this is where next one come. What is the purpose of this religion? So what they are offering, but what is the purpose? What is the aim of these people? They did not, Rigvedic people, they did not do it for spiritual uplift. Because you try to remember some of these, because you are going to use these phrases in later Vedic, Mauryan period, Gupta period, and in fact today also. They did not do it for spiritual uplift, because this Veda, Mauryan period, Ashoka Dhamma and Vedic thought. Gupta time period, Gupta religion, Gupta Brahmanical religion and Vedic religion. Next, early medieval, Adi Shankara, Advaita, again you are going to talk about Upanishads and Rigvedic. Then when it comes to medieval time period, during Mughal time period, for example during Dara Shikoh, Shah Jahan Dara Shikoh, during Akbar time period, some of the Sanskrit works are going to be translated. And while some of the Sanskrit works are continuing, and they are going to take inspiration from Vedic thought. And again you are going to see. And when it comes to freedom struggle, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, he studied Vedas, Vedanta, then he started giving according to 18th century. And Swami Dayananda Saraswati, go back to Vedas. And today also, this is our institution. UPSC is the present day institution, which is in an indirect way. Whatever this exam is giving, this exam has different syllabus. Even general studies students, whether they are history optional student or not, doesn't matter. But UPSC is expecting this history to be studied by everyone. That is why in general studies, both in prelims and mains, history is there as part of the syllabus. That means in 2023, India is having an institution. For example, you think like you go back to 1000 years future, go forward. Now today 2023. Now 3023, let us assume. Like we are talking about 1023. 1023 is, suppose if it is BC, this is Rigvedic period. 2023 BC if you go. Now it is AD. So 1000 AD, 1 AD, 1000 BC. Now what we are studying? The people who are living at this time, we are talking about these people. That there was this kind of institutions they were doing. Now you assume that those people who are going to come to this earth in 3000 AD, now they are going to study what these people were doing. And obviously they will not get every detail what we are doing, because everything is not going to be recorded. And some records are going to survive, some are going to be destroyed. It's natural. Whatever survive, they are going to reconstruct 2023 people life. And if UPSC institution survives in their memory, and they will think that there was an institution called UPSC in free independent India, people used to study these subjects. That was the education. And they used to study in Vedic, this was the education side. In medieval time, this was the nature of education. In British time, this was the education. In free India, this was the education. And later that it will keep on go. After next 2500, what is going to be education system? We don't know. But definitely they are going to study that our history, our present becomes their past. So this way, similarly, we are going to keep on recurrently, we are going to use these Rigvedic ideas and Vedic thought continuously till today also. And today there is so much debate also, politically it is charged atmosphere also, Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences, even present day, everyday newspaper also you might see some politician or some administrator here keep on talking about Vedic thought, Vedic atmosphere or Vedic mathematics, whether it is applicable in the present context or not secondary, but there are people who are believing that Vedic mathematics are greater than modern mathematics. Now, it is his duty to prove, and if he is not able to prove, we have to discard that idea.
So in some fields, they are largely there and some things is not being.
So here what our intention is, so this is a recurrent theme in the present day also and in the past also. They did not do it for spiritual uplift. They asked for children, they asked for cattle. Children means praja, cattle means pashu. They are asking for food, they are asking for wealth, and they are asking for health. And it is not for universal good or spiritual upliftment. That is going to become later. When people are sufficiently have all these things, then they started using religion for some other purpose. Now you have food, you have health, you have cattle, you have children. Now still you worship the God for peace. For peace. So that is going to be.
They were scared of the dangers happening caused by these floods,
Natural disasters. So that is going to become later part, but at this time their protection, their food, their health, their children, their cattle. And in fact even today also most of the people pray God for these things only.
Children.
Let us not talk about Rigvedic people, but the kind of life of many people like this beginning only. And we are also worried about these things in every day. We are also worshipping for the same reasons. How many of us are really worshipping God for universal peace, universal existence? Because we are struggling every day for this, then obviously people will ask these things. And those who crossed this level, they ask for universal peace. They ask for universal existence. And that is where Upanishads are going to deal. This is at the beginning stage.
So I always feel that Vedas are for like people like us, common people, and Upanishads is for those philosophical people like
Yes.
people like Swami Vivekananda, Rajesh, for those people it's Upanishads.
Exactly. Even 600 BC also, that is why Upanishads are very high level, common people could not understand. That is why Buddhism, Jainism emerged. They were talking very plain language, Pali, Prakrit, which is understood by common people. In fact, Upanishadic thought is influenced these people. Buddha, Mahavira, they are already Kshatriya, that means they are rulers. They got very good education. And they know Vedantic thought also, they know Vedas also. They have already studied in their childhood because their fathers have given them this education only. But after certain age, they did not like this and they modified it in a different way. But obviously, it is going to affect them. When your school education happened in completely in English education, now after few years you are going to talk about India, Indian way of life, Indian education, everything you are going to study. But you have studied your education in English medium or English Western education, obviously you are going to be influenced by Western thought. Same thing happened during the independence struggle also. Who are our freedom fighters? Who fought for India are those who were educated by the Western education. The same Macaulay children, you can say in the words of some people, the same Macaulay children started attacking the Macaulayan system. Because that system gave the access to the Western ideas. If we don't know English, we cannot read the English books. If we don't know the European languages, we cannot study them. And in fact, when they came to India, they started reading Sanskrit. If they don't know Sanskrit, they cannot read exactly, they cannot understand really Indian thought. That's why when Europeans came here, they learned Sanskrit, they understood Indians, they ruled Indians. Asiatic society, Orientalism. And if you want to know about Western people, you have to know their language, their literature. For that you have to study. That's why this is going to be a continuous phenomena, and you need to see in a continuous dots. Whatever these religious ideas, these beliefs are going to come at every stage, and you have to connect all these dots. UPSC's questions are going to be not for a single age wise, it is going to be entire Indian history. You should have complete idea about ancient timeline, and at different stages how different ideas are emerging, and those new ideas, emerged ideas, are going to percolate. If Buddhism is there, that means attracted by the previous thought. Upanishadic thought attracted by this one. Upanishads are not going to come in isolation. They are using the same ideas and they are giving in a different format. Shankaracharya has given Vedanta thought, but it is not in isolation. It is the idea that existed already for thousands of years, and he gave in a new format. Raja Ram Mohan Rai has given a different thought. It doesn't mean he is giving in isolation. He know Bible also, he read direct original Bible, original language. He know Quran also, he know Rig Veda, Vedas also. After studying all these, then he has taken good elements and he gave. Swami Vivekananda, he is not an isolation person. He already read all these things gradually. He accumulated some kind of idea and he gave it to the world. Gandhiji, he already read all these things and he gave new way. And today who are living in 2023, whoever philosopher or in future philosophers, they are going to study all these. They are going to give the present twist for the present times, which is more relevant. In the present format, they modify the old idea. So this is where UPSC questions are coming, and this is going to be very, very foundation. And now onwards, you are going to see almost repetition only. These ideas are going to be repeated, but some more are going to be added. Online students, understood? Clear up to here? Clear?
So sir, the early Vedic is done.
Early Vedic period, Rig Vedic period is done. Now next Monday we will start later Vedic time period. Alright? Okay, online students, thank you. We will meet on Monday. Sunday no class, Monday.
So the storage happened, it's okay. So now one more thing that is a very, for me it's a very boring chapter, that is the Bhakti and Sufi movement. So we will study it in details about every people from Mirabai to Kabir.
We will study in different, we will study important people, because for exam it is not required actually. For exam it is not required. We study only what is required for exam. But format is useful. If you study in any book, that format will help you. But for writing answers, whatever we are going to deal, that is sufficient.
Is the syllabus for Bhakti and Sufi movement, is this chapter is big or small?
Very small, just 1 line, 2 lines only.
Then I can follow. Otherwise,
but it is like once you know the common theme, only just adding the names from different geographic location, ideas are going to be same. Yes, that's it.
The things are the names are good, but the names are so many. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine.